I get comments all the time on various videos where people are really indecisive on what they should get. They want an offset, you know, they want the flavor that an offset can provide, but then they're like, man, I don't know if I want to tend the wood all the time. Maybe I'll go with a pellet grill. Well, I'm getting ready to show you something that you can have both all in one unit. Wait till you see this. This is the Pits and Spits Hybrid. So here it is, and it truly is a beast. This has a 48-inch cooking chamber with a 24-inch firebox, and it is a 1/4 inch on the firebox, 3/16 on the chamber itself. Now the only installation on this pit is this actual stainless table here. Up underneath here, there's 2 pegs that slide down, and they send Allen screw heads to tighten those up with. I went ahead and went to Lowe's, and I went ahead and got some wing bolts to make that job a little easier, because I had to do it by myself. But basically how this works is you got a gasket right up under here. So you got to adjust this all the way up to this gasket on both ends, and then tighten them down. This is permanent. This doesn't fold down. This will always be right here. This is how this seals right here on the top. Very cool design, because it can't get a lot of heat to that gasket, and that's usually what tears them up, is when they get too hot. It's got a stainless steel roll top, as you can see. Easy to open. And back in here, there's like 1 inch of insulation, or it's double walled right in here. Now I have already seasoned this pit. I seasoned it the day after I uncrated it, because all of this metal that you see on the inside was shining brand new, no rust spots, no anything. So I wanted to get seasoning on it right away, and I did. And I seasoned half of it using the pellet. Then I fired up the firebox, and I season the other 3 hours using an actual wood fire. And the reason I did that, if you'll look down here, there's a baffle plate, and the pellet sends heat across, and it cannot make it down under that baffle plate and into the firebox itself. But it also gave me an opportunity to run the offset and the pellet hopper just to see how they're going to do. And let me tell you, they did fantastic. I'm actually going to cook today. Since I've already seasoned this, I can skip that part. And if you've never seasoned a pit, I've got many other videos seasoning brand new pits made out of steel like this. It's very simple. Basically, you spray everything down with a cooking oil, and then you fire the pit up, run it somewhere around 250 to 275 for around 6 hours, and you're basically done. It's kind of like seasoning a cast iron pan. So while we got you here, here's the bottom grate. A lot of cooking area on that. But if you look up under this grate here, you will see the drip pan itself. And this is for the pellet side of it. Now you can cook over here with the pellet side too. You don't have to be restricted to right here. But this is where the pan stops, the grease runs off and drips down. And there's a wall here to keep the grease from backing up over here by your fire pot. And there's a drain right here in the bottom. It's got a valve underneath it. And you just open that valve anytime you get an accumulation of grease. All right, so here is the firebox. Now this is 3/16 here on the lid. The rest of this box is full 1/4 inch. And here is a grate that you can actually grill with. This is quite a bit of a little grilling area here. If you just want to grill only, here's your grill. And of course it's got the pellet grill too. Now up under here, you'll see a plate. And you can use this for a griddle, but mainly what it's for is to keep all that extreme heat. It's more of a deflector for it, so it don't come up in here and destroy your paint. But you can double this as a griddle itself, a warming tray, you know, just to keep things warm, pot of beans, whatever the case may be. All right, here is your vent that you can adjust for your intake. But I can tell you now, when I'm cooking with an offset, I always keep this wide open. I always adjust my heat by the size of the fire. And there is no damper on the stack, which that's all right because I always leave it wide open too. I always cook by the size of the fire on an offset. But I'm gonna go ahead and run this in because I will be firing up the pellet heat grill here in just a little bit, just as soon as I show you everything about this grill. Open up, door swings. So as you can see, I have already used this. I did sweep my ash out, but this fire grate itself is 1/4 inch. It's heavy. It's been cut out with a plasma for all the air vents. There's the hole in the very back with that baffle pointing downward. But you can look at the wall thickness, solid 1/4 inch. That's going to be fine down here where I live. The door, 1/4 inch. Got a wood handle here, simple little design, just a latch just to keep it closed. Now it does have 8-inch casters, 8-inch casters. Here's the valve that you drain the grease. It did come with a grease bucket. And there is your stack. That's for the pellet or the offset, either one. Wood handles on everything, wood handle here. All right, so let me show you the hinges here. Nice heavy hinges, good solid welds. And this is a stop just to stop it from falling all the way back. If you notice here, this is a gas regulator. This comes standard with gas assist for this Firebox. Man, I love that. I fired this thing up the other day. I ran that gas, and it's not a hard flame, so it's not really sucking the gas out of your tank. It's just a yellow flame. It's enough to start your wood, and it does a fantastic job. No more having to waste charcoal briquettes when I can use just a little bit of propane to get my wood started. Absolutely love that. There's the knob for it down there. And down here is your bottom rack. This half here is for storage, and I think you would set like a 20-pound bottle of propane there if you chose to. I have a bigger bottle, so I'll just bring it out here long enough to start it and then get the bottle back in. You only need it that one time. And here is hooks. It's also mounted to this table that you would hang your different cooking utensils. And you also have this. That's where your regulator goes, but you could also put a towel right here, like a little towel rack. And one thing I do like about this setup, these wheels are actually flanged. In the event one of them broke by some chance, they're heavy. It's like 1,000-pound casters. But in the event one did, you could unbolt it and bolt a new one to it. And they do lock. The back ones do not lock. These here in the front lock, and they also pivot. Very easy to move around. Now this handle here, that's what you'd move it with. And as you can see, it's removable. They were thinking ahead. In the event you ever have to get into this pellet hopper, you will be able to remove this, get it out of your way, then do whatever work you got to do if you got an auger jam or something like that. Stainless steel top on this hopper. Now you can see I've already had pellets in here. Matter of fact, the auger is already primed, ready to go. So this right here, this is where you would pull this. Let me show you from the inside. You pull it, and you can see the ground. Pellets fall right out the bottom. So make sure you got a bucket under it and close it back. It says this is a 35-pound hopper, and I think it will hold close to that. I had 20 pounds in it. As you can see, it was about right here. So yeah, it'd probably hold every bit of 35 pounds. So good capacity on that. Here's all the instructions for the pellet hopper itself. This does not come with a booklet, but you can scan this QR code here and it'll pull up their website that gives you even more information than what this has. But it's very easy to set up. Now if you notice, one probe, that's what this comes with, is one probe and one probe outlet. That's the reason you see my signals, because I like to run multiple probes when I'm cooking. Now it's already got a built-in probe for temperature, but I like to compare to make sure that's where it's at, because look at it. That's 48 inches from here all the way to here. What if I want to cook on that end? So I've already ran this for 3 hours when I was doing the seasoning and setting the paint on this unit. And man, let me tell you, this has got a very smart algorithm. Not only is it dumping the right amount of pellets as it needs it to maintain temperature, it's also got pulse width modulation on the fan. The fan will run constantly until you hit your target. Then you'll hear it pulsing, you know, in, out, at different intervals, whatever it takes for this to maintain really accurate temps. And let me tell you, I was holding within 3 degrees swing either direction for the majority of the time. Once or twice I seen it go 6 degrees. Man, you can't beat that. I mean, you really can't. Very impressed with that. I'll show you some of that a little later, because I will be firing up the pellet side of this today. All right, so I was inspired to do this recipe from Googie Q. It used to be Guggen Barbecue, and I have a hard time saying Googie Q for some reason. But anyway, Googie Q, formerly Guggen Barbecue, he did a similar recipe on his channel about 2 months ago, and it looked really good. And I told him, I said, I'm going to do a similar version, because I love pineapple. Who don't like bacon? And if you notice here, I got some turkey bacon. That's not for me. My wife is on a special diet because of health issues, and she's told me she wouldn't be able to eat these because of that bacon. So I said I'll get some turkey bacon. It's 70% less sodium, 6% less fat. So I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I know how mine's going to turn out. So I'm going to go ahead and take this pineapple, and we're just going to cut this off the core and get it into spears. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that bacon in half. That'll be just about enough to wrap these with. And I'll show you the other ingredients as they come into play. But I do want to shout out AJ over there at Googie Q, Guggen Barbecue, whatever you want to call it. And I'll have a link in the description. Go over there and check him out. He is an up-and-coming YouTube channel that can really use a lot more subscribers. He does really good work. He does great videos, has some really good ideas, such as this one right here. Go over there and tell him that Russ Jones from Smoky Ribs sent you. I would appreciate it. I know he would. All right, go ahead and get our bacon ready. Now what I've got here, and I'll have the recipe down in the description. Like I said, this is much different than the way he did his, but it inspired me to do it this way, because I'm definitely wanting to make this kind of a tropical with the pineapple, the rum, more of an adult popper, if you will. Now I used a half a cup of packed brown sugar, light brown sugar, 1.5 ounces of some really good rum, and I made this concoction here. I heated it up for about 2 minutes. There's still alcohol in it, and we just want to rub our pineapple with this. Oh, that's going to be good. Take our bacon. Hope you can see everything. I missed my camera guy. All right, we're just going to put that right here. Now a little later I'll do something else with these. These are not getting a rub, and AJ put barbecue sauce on his also. He put a barbecue rub. Well, actually he put a dessert rub, and then he used the barbecue sauce. This is all I'm doing right here. You're seeing it. And the reason being, pineapple, my opinion, doesn't really need seasoning. And this sugar with rum is going to send it over the top. Then you're going to have that smoky bacon coming through. I didn't do it on the first one, but I'm going to come back and do it. I want to put some of this on the bacon itself too. That's what's going to give it that candied bacon. Go ahead and do this one. Then I'm going to turn these cameras off and get all these done. And you could put a rub on this if you chose to. I just want to try it like this. It's like anything else, you can build on it, you can change it up completely, but I like the way AJ thinks. All right, I just put these in here. Let me show you real quick. Only been in a few minutes. I went ahead and made me 8 of them. The wife's got 4. I had some left over. I could have done more, but this be good enough for this video. I really don't need that much sugar, neither does she, so we're gonna hold at that. Let's close it down. These are probably gonna take 45 minutes to an hour. It's my guess whenever the bacon gets crispy, or at least the pork bacon. I'm not sure about turkey bacon. I've never used it, never cooked with it. All right, some of you might be wondering, why did I put this way over here on this side when the pellet grill portion of this grill is right here? Well, I want to see and make sure I can cook all the way over here as well. Besides that, I haven't had time to put foil down on top of that drip pan. I want to do that just to make it easier to clean. I don't mind the grease and everything dripping straight in the bottom of this part because that's where the drain's at. But as you can see, what I've noticed, try to get out of the wind here, I end up bringing this up to 290 degrees. All right, now keep in mind, that's right here. That thermometer is right behind this wall. And you got your hot air coming up, so it's also reading that. So to get more accurate temperature of what's really going on, starting right here, this would be somewhere over your fire pot. That's right at close to 260 degrees, which is about 30 degrees below the set temperature. Now I've got a probe here. Let's go see where that is. And I also put another probe over here where the actual product is. All right. So we're a little under where that analog thermometer is. Instead of around 260, we're around 255, 253. Now this holds great. You hear that fan? How it's kicking in and out? That's that pulse width modulation I was telling you. Sometimes it runs longer, sometimes it's a little short burst. The computer's doing whatever it's doing to maintain at 290 degrees. That's all it's concerned with. I'm having to run probes elsewhere to see exactly what the temp is. And I'm not overthinking, I'm just doing it because first time cooking, I want to play with it. Now this is what my temp is, a 236. That's what's over, or right there at those candied bacon pineapple poppers. And that is perfect. I didn't want to cook them too fast because of all the sugar content. And that's about right. Somewhere between 225 to 240, I'm good with that. But just showing you how I would adjust this. Now, if I was cooking right over that drip pan, then obviously I could probably cut this temperature back to maybe 275 to get right at 250, something like that. But that's why I like running other probes, for that reason right there. Because you really don't know what's going on unless you got something like this to monitor it with. But I thought you might want to kind of know that portion of it. You can achieve good temperatures all the way back, but you might have to kick it up on this end to achieve that back there. All right, I've been going somewhere around 30 minutes. Now I have been playing with things. As far as the temperatures goes, I've opened it a few times, just looking. But I want to go ahead and add the final ingredient. Now what I've got here is some candied jalapenos. I just want to place one of them on each one of these. I don't know if my wife wants any on hers or not, but if I got any left, I'll definitely put some on hers, just in case. All right, so that's the last step on that. Like I said, about another 30 minutes, we'll look at them. I want that bacon to kind of crisp up a little bit, render some of that fat out. And we're gonna call these good. All right, we are done. Just trying to keep the flies out of it. Let's go ahead and try one and see how it tastes. I know it sounds really good. Let's go with this one right here. just exactly what I was expecting. That little bit of rum's coming through, a lot of sweetness from the brown sugar. The pineapple is pineapple, and that smoky bacon gives it a good back end flavor. These are fantastic. Now I want a pina colada. As far as the Pits and Spits hybrid, absolutely loving it. I got to play around with it today and make sure that I could actually use the pellet grill function well away from the hopper and the drip pan and all that, and I absolutely could. It's perfect for something like this. Now, will I do that all the time? Probably not. I'll probably put it over the drip pan and actually be able to cut my temperature down some to be more in range with what I'm actually cooking. But I am looking forward to using a combination of the offset along with the pellet grill on a long cook. And that's coming up, it's coming. And I'll be doing videos with this for a long time. So I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope you give this a try. I'm Russ Jones with Smoky Ribs Barbecue.